Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Vagina Healing Podcast. My name is Dakira, and I'm a dietitian that frees women from chronic vaginal infections. I've healed myself naturally without medications and without dieting from mycoplasma, ureaplasma, bacterial vaginosis, and yeast infections, all of which lasted 4 years. And so I help women to now also do the same. So, this episode is going to be an update on the episode I made a little while back. I think I made this episode maybe a few weeks ago at this point. I released it on June 4th. It was how to get rid of sweaty, musky BO down there. And I have an update to provide you guys with because I found out what the actual root cause is of my vulva odor, and it wasn't what I thought it was before. And so this is going to help other women as well who deal with the same issue. But before we get started, I want to give some updates for you guys. So last week, I completely revamped my business and created more offers for new programs, more resources, more free resources, and more ways to work with me. So, number one, I created a new YouTube channel. It's Vag Healing Nutrition RD. And on this YouTube channel is where my podcast is connected. I'm also going to be collaborating with other healthcare professionals in this space and releasing videos on that YouTube channel for that intention. So if you want to subscribe to that YouTube channel, you can. I'll put the link down below because then you can also see my interviews with other healthcare professionals who can help you all with healing chronic vaginal infections. I also post daily free education on there in the community tab Monday to Friday. So subscribe to that channel and turn the bell notification on. Two, I updated my free vaginal healing supplement guide. So that is linked in my bio. I added 4 new supplements that can help you to better support your vaginal microbiome. This free vaginal supplement guide helps to give you obviously what supplements can help support vaginal health, when these certain supplements can be useful, and how to choose products based on your personal needs. That guide is completely free and it's been updated. So that is also linked in my link tree. So all you have to do is put your email in and you will get the free vaginal supplement guide straight to your email. Update number 3, I have launched a brand new course called the 5-week Microbiome Restoration Intensive course. This course is for women who want education, structure, and a deeper understanding of the microbiome without committing to one-to-one coaching. So it's a live course that's being recorded. So we just recorded week 1 last week, and so week 1 has been posted into the course. And so this course is for women who want to learn how the vaginal microbiome works, the connection between gut and vaginal health, how to support your microbiome balance naturally, nutrition and lifestyle strategies for microbiome restoration, how to get to the root cause, how to create your own protocol, how to regulate your nervous system, how to manage your sleep better. So this course is literally like working with me one-to-one in my Vag Reset, but it's condensed into 5 weeks. So it's all the knowledge that I give to all of my personal one-to-one clients condensed into 5 weeks. The only thing that you will not be getting is the one-to-one support from me like you would in the Vag Reset. But this course is really, really, really amazingly packed with so much information that you are going to be learning so much new shit. Like anytime people learn from me, they're like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Because I have a really broad, really diverse range of knowledge in holistic health, nervous system health, mindset, mind body healing. So I'm focusing on different aspects of life and not just the logical science nutrition advice that most people are used to. So if you want to join or to technically purchase the 5-week microbiome restoration intensive course, you can purchase that down below. And it comes with a group chat where if you have questions about the course after, you can ask them in the group chat. Or if you want to bounce ideas with other people who also took the course and you want to connect with other people, you can do that. The group chat for that course is on Patreon, and unfortunately, Patreon does not let me create a free group chat, so it's $3 a month. $3.33 a month to join the group chat. But this course is great. It's self-paced, it's weekly dripped, and it has an educational experience designed to give you all the knowledge you need to know and the foundation you need to better understand your body. Now, the 4th update, I have a brand new program called the GI Reset. So similar to how I have the Vag Reset, which is my 3-month one-to-one program of clients who want to work with me to heal chronic vaginal infections by getting their own protocol and their EVI or vaginal microbiome test interpreted. The GI Reset is basically the same thing, but it's specifically tailored and targeted to women who deal with chronic vaginal infections who are also simultaneously dealing with gut health issues as well. So this program is designed for women who want to focus on their gut health in order to also heal their vaginal health. So with this program, instead of it being an EVI test, it's a GI map test. So a GI map test is basically an at-home stool test, and where a testing kit gets sent to your home. You have to submit a sample of your stool, and then you get a report back that basically gives you a whole entire breakdown on your gut. So it tells you what good and bad bacteria you have, if you have any parasites, any fungi, any viruses, if you have leaky gut, if your body is sensitive or reacts to gluten, if you have gut inflammation. It shows you how well your gut immunity is. It also tells you how well your digestion is working, because a lot of your gut health issues can be from poor digestion. Maybe you have low stomach acid, maybe you have low pancreatic enzymes, maybe you have low bile flow, maybe you have overgrowth of certain bacteria or fungi or any pathogens in general that's causing your severe gut symptoms. So, if you are dealing with chronic vaginal issues, but you also have digestive issues such as bloating, irregular digestion, really bad smelly gas, gut discomfort, suspected microbiome imbalances, then this program is going to be good for you. If you check out my last episode where I interviewed a client who recently healed her 10-year-long chronic vaginal infections, she did a GI map test with me and she did an EVI test, and we were able to heal her chronic vaginal infections after 10 years. So the GI Reset focuses on supporting the gut microbiome through education, nutrition, foundational lifestyle changes, supplements. You get the same access to me like in the Vag Reset, where you have the one-to-one 24/7 chat support. I create your protocol for you. I interpret your GI map test for you. I give you your own supplements, stuff like that. So that program is great if you want to really focus on your gut health. And for the GI map test are tests that are not typically ran by regular Western medicine doctors because they're root cause functional based tests. So they're tests that are, what's the word? Not given. Functional practitioners like naturopathic doctors or integrative doctors or functional medicine dietitians. These are kind of the providers that offer these tests because we have taken courses or have trained ourselves to interpret them and get to the root cause. So sometimes you'll notice that Western medicine doctors or your normal GI doctor will not order these tests, and they may not even know about it because it's not within their scope, as in they didn't learn about it in undergrad or in grad school. And you have to take your own accord of training yourself in this knowledge to help other people. So normal doctors typically will not know about this test. They won't order it for people because if they order it, then they're responsible for interpreting it and for helping you. And if they don't know about it, then they're not going to order it because then they can't help you with it. So, with that, a lot of people ask, can I ask my doctor for the GI map test? And usually the answer is no, unless your doctor is a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine doctor, a doctor that can help you to interpret it as well. But otherwise, most doctors are not going to order it for you if they're not knowledgeable on it. And of course, you have doctors and other practitioners who don't believe in it as well because they don't really believe in functional medicine or getting to the root cause. So everyone's approach is different. So with this, if you value and you resonate with my approach, then you definitely want to sign up for the GI Reset. It's the same price as the Vag Reset, which is 333 for a 3-month program. Sorry, 3333 for 3 months of being in this program. So check that program out. Now, this is also a new offer that's really exciting because it's a more affordable option and it has a more hands off approach. So you have the freedom and flexibility to still choose to heal how you want to heal. So, this is the Poom Poom Lab panel. So, the word Poom Poom is a West Indian slang term for vagina or pussy. So, this is for women who want answers before committing to a full coaching program. So, for women who are experiencing recurring vaginal imbalances or infections, and they've been told that their tests are normal, but they know something is off, and they want deeper insight into what may be contributing to their symptoms. This offer includes comprehensive testing and expert interpretation. So basically, what this is it's a lab panel. So basically, I give you all of the labs that you need to get checked, and then once I get your results back, I send you a video interpretation of what all your labs mean, how they can be contributing to your recurring vaginal infections. But it's not for a protocol, it's just for you to know which labs to get checked. So it's basically a lab panel to help you get to the root cause of your chronic vaginal infections. So it includes all of the labs that I know of to this day with my knowledge that can help you get to the root cause of your recurring vaginal infections. So the price that you see on my storefront is the price for the video interpretation, but the client is responsible for getting the labs themselves. But I give you all the labs you have to get. So, number one, you have to get an EVI vaginal microbiome test. You have to get the full lab panel that has the STD and the STI PCR included. So, that price is around $249. And with my link with EVI, you can get $20 off of your first order. You also have to get a GI map test. That test is going to be around 400. Then I also give you other blood work that you can either choose to get through your doctor, or if you don't have insurance, I can send you the labs to get through full script, and it's around 198 to get all of these labs. So the blood work that we're going to be that you'll be getting is all of your blood sugar labs, labs on your nutrient status, labs such as iron, a full iron panel, not the ones that you get from your doctor, but checking like your ferritin, your saturation percentage, all of your thyroid labs, not just your TSH, but your T3, your T4, your TPO, getting a full sex hormone panel, labs to check your inflammation levels, labs to check your immune health. So with this, let's say you don't have insurance. I will send you the labs to get through full script, and you'll have to go get them through Quest, and it's around $198 for those blood work labs. So the price for this lab panel is broken down in the storefront. So when you press the link to get the Poom Poom lab panel, it can help to give you a better breakdown of the investment. So the total investment is $1,400. It's $1,448 because the testing in labs, all of that in total without insurance is $848, and the video interpretation fee is $600. So if you're interested in having a more hands-off approach where all you have to do is get your labs done and I interpret it for you, then you can do this, and then you can choose how you want to heal on your own. But what's good about this program is that if you decide you want to continue working with me, you can then join the Vag Reset Advance, and the price that you paid for the Poom Poom Lab panel will then be rolled over to the Vag Reset Advance. So the Vag Reset Advance is my 6-month program that combines gut health healing and vaginal healing with both the EVI and the GI map test. And so the total cost of that program is $6,666 for 6 months. But if you do the lab panel first, then you will get the discount that you paid for the program. So you won't be paying the full 6,666. It'll be that price, 6,666 minus the 1,448. And so that can be helpful. Also, there's payment plans available for the GI map test and for the blood labs when you do it through FullScript. And you can also use your HSA and FSA to pay for your GI map and for your blood work if you want to do this program. So, any questions about this program, reach out to me, or everything is going to be on the storefront. Another program update is that I now have added back one-to-one consultation. So a lot of people were always asking me, how can they ask me questions without committing to the full program? So I decided to bring back one-to-one consultation. So these are 60-minute private video calls designed for Q&A, guidance, support, getting your questions answered, and helping you to understand what's the best next step. These calls are not for personalized protocols or treatment plans or supplement plans or ongoing coaching. Unless you want them to be for ongoing coaching, then you have to keep paying for the calls whenever you want to call. But that would have to be a 4-week consecutive package. But this program is for people who simply just want to ask me questions of what to do and things like that. But it's not if you want a personalized protocol or a treatment plan. If you want more of a customized healing protocol or treatment plan, then the Vag Reset Advanced or the Vag Reset is more appropriate for you. or the GI reset. So if you want to do a one-to-one consultation with me, then a private video call is your best bet. I don't answer questions for free in DMs. If a person has a general question, I may answer it through a TikTok video or through a podcast episode, but that's more so a general education that I feel is appropriate for a podcast episode or a TikTok video. But I don't answer personalized one-to-one questions in DMs because I am a healthcare professional and I'm not going to give free help in my DMs. So keep that in mind. Some other program updates is that the Vag Reset program price has increased from previously 1555 for 3 months to now 333 for 3 months. The Vag Reset Advance is now a 6 month program, and that price is 6666, but it includes the GI map and the EVI test, so it's not a separate cost. Updated ebook pricing. All of my ebooks across the board are now $77.77. They're no longer $47. And so with the ebooks, especially with the Vag Reset ebook, if you want to ask me questions about the Vag Reset ebook, you can then join my Patreon. That's the Microbiome Makeover, in which you can ask questions and pay a monthly fee of $50 to be able to ask me questions Monday to Friday, daily written Q&A with those questions, and a weekly Q&A Fridays only. So that's pretty much all the updates for my company and my programs. I know this is kind of like a long-winded response, but I want to give you guys all of the deets. So now into today's episode, which I actually just closed something out. So yeah, now for today's episode, I'm going to be discussing another root cause of what can be causing your vulva odor. So, as you guys have listened to that old episode, you would have known that in the episode I talked about how I started dealing with really a pungent, persistent BO down there since last summer, which I've never experienced in my life. Like, whenever I used to sweat down there, it would just have no odor. It would just smell like water. But as of last summer, I started dealing with a really pungent odor, and I thought it was because someone who I was intimate with had passed on a bacteria to me that introduced that to my vagina that then caused the odor. So it wasn't like an infection kind of transfer, but more so just like a microbiome to microbiome exchange. So that's basically what I thought it was until I realized that what was actually causing my vulva odor was actually my hidradenitis flare ups. So, for those who are not aware of hidradenitis, it's basically a chronic skin condition in which you get really painful cystic flare ups in enclosed areas like your groin, in between your thighs, under your arms, on your vagina. Some people get it in other areas. I've dealt with hidradenitis suppurativa since I was in 7th grade. And when I was younger, it was really severe. It was like I think it's called phase 3 hidradenitis, where I would have up to like 13 to 16 cysts at a time on my vagina. And you can imagine how traumatizing and how painful this is for someone who was like 11 or 12, because I couldn't do normal things. I had to skip school often because I would have cysts that would flare up to the size of a golf ball on my vulva. And I would have to wait until the cyst opened and drained, which is disgusting, in order to feel relief. And I would have multiple cysts at a time on my vagina area, on the vulva area, on the mons pubis areas where the pubic hair grows, and also in my anal area. So sometimes I couldn't sit down. I couldn't even lay down in certain positions. So it was a really painful condition to deal with. And when I was younger, I tried all these dyes to help heal it, and nothing really worked until I got laser hair removal with the ND YAG laser. So consistently getting laser hair removal helped for the cyst to stop completely. And so for years, like 4 years, like all throughout college, I don't remember ever dealing with any flare ups throughout college. Even after college, I don't remember dealing with any flare ups at all. Like it completely stopped the cyst for years, even though in college and stuff, I wasn't consistently getting the laser because I was in college, but because I was getting it for like 2 to 3 years in high school, like from like 10th or 11th grade up until like senior year of high school, that for me, the cyst completely stopped. Um, I did start getting laser again, I think maybe like 2019 after I came back from the Netherlands. I think I was just getting it then just to get it. I don't remember having flare ups. Maybe if I had flare ups, they weren't flare ups that were actively opening and draining because sometimes with hidradenitis, it can be nodules, which are basically cysts and tracts of cyst tunnels underneath the skin that causes the bumps to be large and inflamed and painful, but they don't open up and drain the actual pus, which I know this is disgusting, but that's just the reality of the condition. But as of last summer, I started getting reoccurring open cysts again, and I started getting two, one on each side of my vulva. So it makes it inconvenient to do a lot of things, and it's really painful. And at this time, because last summer I was going through a lot, I was really high stress. My iron was really low, so I contributed the reoccurring cyst flare ups potentially to the iron and also to the stress. But these cysts have been persistent and they have not closed for over a year. And so around the same time that these cysts started coming back again and they opened is also when the odor started. But I thought it was because of the oral sex. But in reality, it was actually because of the hidradenitis. And I found actual proof of this through a PhD doctor who talks about this knowledge on his social media account. So basically, to summarize, the persistent vulva, like the really pungent BO odor I've been experiencing since last summer was not because of what I thought was the microbiome to microbiome exchange from this person. It's actually due to the hidradenitis. And so if you have hidradenitis, I'm going to explain the science of why this can cause really bad pungent BO. And so now I'm going to resume the laser hair removal. I haven't been able to do it for the last year due to life circumstances, but I'm going to resume it soon so that I can stop these cysts for good. And I'm also going to be doing my own gut healing protocol, which I already put myself on one technically, but I ordered a GI map test to get to the root cause of what is causing the cyst to persist and to not go away. So I'm going to be doing my own GI map interpretation and stuff so I can get to the root cause. So I'm also going to be doing some lab work as well, some blood lab work to get to the root cause of why these cysts have come back and why they're not going away. But I know laser hair removal with the Nd:YAG laser, that's Nd:YAG laser, helps because it kills the hair follicle at the root, which will not allow the hidradenitis to then flare up. And laser hair removal, even though it's really painful, I get really good results. It helps with discoloration. It helps with preventing the hair from going back. Till this day, I don't really grow a lot of vaginal hair because of laser hair removal. Vaginal hair still grows, yes, but it's not as much. And so I know laser hair removal for me is a really long term solution for preventing the cysts from coming back. And the cysts are really inconvenient because they're always flaring up and then they're always draining. And then I have to wear band aids all the time because of the friction. And sometimes it hurts to walk. And so it's a really annoying condition to deal with. And so, with that, I want to go into the science behind hidradenitis. So, what's crazy about this is that literally the day before I was wondering about this, the next day I found the information on my news on my feed. So I woke up one day and I was like, I wonder if the hidradenitis is what's causing the vulva odor, but I didn't understand the connection because I'm like, it's not that the active cysts smell and that the pus smell because it doesn't, which I know is disgusting again. So I was like, I don't think it can be the hydrogenatus that's causing the odor. But then, literally the next day on Threads, I follow a doctor named Dr. Armpit. He's not a medical doctor, but he is a PhD. I don't know what exactly the terminology is, but basically, he has been studying body odor for 15 years. So he has a PhD in studying body odor. So he's basically a body odor scientist. So his name is Dr. Armpit. He is on Threads. And so literally, I saw the next day that someone had asked him a question on Threads and she was asking about hidradenitis. And I responded and I was like, I wonder if hidradenitis contributes to body odor. And he said, yes, he made a post on it the week before. I was like, holy shit, this actually might be the answer because I don't have hidradenitis under my arms and I don't deal with underarm BO odor. But I have it down there, and I'm dealing with BO down there. So in this post, he says he's basically doing like a conversation that he written out. So he said, "Me, in non-smelly armpits, aerobic bacteria dominate. In HS affected skin, anaerobic bacteria take over. Species like Prevotella. These are particularly good at producing pungent, persistent odors. So again, in non-smelly armpits, aerobic bacteria dominate. So that's when you don't have any odor. But when you have HS, anaerobic, which is bacteria that don't require oxygen, they take over. So species like Prevotella, which can also cause BV. Um, these kind of anaerobic bacteria are particularly good at producing really pungent, persistent odors. And the vulva odor I was dealing with was very pungent. And then he said, so the smell is coming from the bacteria the disease creates, question mark. Does that mean that antiseptics could help? And he says, me, as in like he's basically writing out a conversation he's having with somebody. So he's basically saying his education and then the person's question and response, and then he's responding with his response written. So then he says his response was only to a certain extent. Bacteria also live in deeper layers of the skin where no amount of washing can reach. The root of this is deeper, it's in the immune system. So with that, there's only so much scrubbing and external things you can do to get rid of the odor when you have HS, because bacteria lives in the deeper layers of the skin. So then the person said, what actually helps? He said there is a strong link between the gut and HS, which is why I'm doing my GI map test, because your gut is usually the cause of all chronic issues in the bodies for the most part. With your gut, there is usually a reduced gut microbiome diversity. So maybe you don't have enough good bacteria in your gut. Maybe you have poor digestion, which is causing a lack of good bacteria in your gut. There are so many reasons as to why your gut can be out of balance. But he also mentions there's a twofold increased risk of Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. And there's also a connection with HS and your diet, because HS can be triggered by inflammatory things in your diet. But also, even if your diet is good, HS can be triggered if you have leaky gut, which can cause even healthy foods to be inflammatory. That's why it's good to get to the root cause by doing a GI map test. But things are still being researched. But we obviously know that by now, reducing processed food and sugar is already a great start. So, what's clear is that the smell is a symptom of a systemic condition, not a reflection of how clean someone is. So, you guys know in the last episode, I was talking about how diluted ACV rinses always helped for me. External rinses, not internal like douching. I don't recommend douching, but doing an external ACV rinse was helping me. Using the diluted lime or lemon juice was helping me. Also, using the Loom acidified unscented soap down there was helping me. But then after 2 to 3 weeks of doing that, it worked so perfectly that I forgot that I had an odor on there, and I was no longer concerned with the odor. So that protocol did work for me, yes. But after about 3 weeks, the smell started coming back again, even after doing the protocol of the lime juice, the lemon juice, the ACV rinse, the soap. And so I started getting nervous. 'Cause I'm like, oh my God, this is not working anymore. What could be happening? And I looked it up, and it's because I basically started over acidifying my skin microbiome, which is basically causing the bacteria to rebound and cause the odor again, because they got so used to the to me over acidifying my skin microbiome that they were like, okay, whatever, let's just continue and persist. So the odor did come back for me, yes. And then that's when I started wondering what else can be the potential cause of this, because there's no reason why this should not be working, because I'm rebalancing my skin microbiome by putting it back into the acidic pH in which it should be in order to prevent the odor. And again, vaginal odor is different than vulva odor. Vulva is the external outside of your vagina. Your vagina is the inside canal. So if you have odor coming from the inside vaginal canal, then that can indicate an actual vaginal infection. So with that, you want to get a test with Evie. I have a link for Evie down below to get to the root cause of that. But when we're speaking of the vulva, which is the outside, yes, it can be hygiene related, but usually for most women, it's sometimes not. It can be because the skin microbiome is imbalanced, which is why diluted ACV washes can work, lime or lemon juice diluted can work, and also using like a mandelic acid soap like from Natrium or Loom can work. But what I will say is that for women who don't have HS, and it's simply just a skin microbiome imbalance, I would choose one or two of those things to do and not all three. And I would not do all three excessively or too much, because it can cause a rebound effect where the odor can come back. So that was my fault, where I kind of took it too far, where I was doing all three of them all the time, even though I told myself I wasn't going to do that. But then I was so nervous about the smell, so I overdid it, and that was my fault, because I know better. I know you should not overdo things, and that you should not over acidify the skin and stuff like that. So if you want to do any of those approaches, maybe I would choose to do the soap once a day, and maybe I would choose to do either of the ACV diluted wash or the diluted lime or lemon juice once a day, but I wouldn't do more then once a day of those things. I also wouldn't do all three of those things in a day. And I definitely would not do all three of those things in a day more than once a day, because that's also what I was doing. So I would choose one soap to use, whether you use the Natrium mandelic acid soap, whether you choose to use Lume's acidified unscented soap, or you can also use Meraki Co's Barrier Bar soap, which was formulated by a vaginal expert who she's a biomedical engineer who studies she studies the vaginal microbiome and female reproductive health. Her name is Gianna. She has her own TikTok and her own podcast. Her podcast is called the G Chats podcast. So she created a barrier bar soap. Well, it's technically not a soap, it's more of a barrier bar that can help to rebalance the vaginal skin microbiome. So I do have a link to get $5 off of your first order if you do choose to get her barrier bar soap, but you can choose one of those three soaps to use. I would use it once a day at most, not twice a day. And if you want to do a diluted ACV rinse or using diluted lime or lemon juice, I would choose to do one or the other. I would not do both in a day. So I hope that helps to answer any questions, or if anyone also experienced a rebound effect from overdoing the acidifying of the vulva skin microbiome. Um, so yeah, so with that, when it comes to the smell, it's not usually a reflection of how clean someone is. It's more so a symptom of systemic condition, which for me, I know is being caused by the hidradenitis. So then he basically says, oh shit, I actually read the post completely backward. I read the second post first, and then okay, so I'm going to read the first post first, and then I will reread the second post. So he said that HS, which is hidradenitis suppurativa, affects the apocrine secretions. So the apocrine secretions are the ones that produce the sweat that smelly bacteria eat and cause that really pungent odor. Hidradenitis also impacts your skin microbiome, so it can actually change your skin microbiome to be more favorable for the odor causing bacteria. So now to reread the screenshots in order. So the question that someone asked him was, I have hidradenitis suppurativa. I shower twice a day, but people still act like I don't wash and I feel embarrassed. His response was, I've studied the armpit microbiome for 15 years. This has nothing to do with hygiene. And then the person responded, then why does the smell keep coming back no matter what I do? Then he responded, in non smelly armpits, aerobic bacteria dominate. Aerobic means that they require oxygen to survive. And HS affected skin, anaerobic bacteria take over, and species like Prevotella can take over, which can also cause BV if it's in your vaginal microbiome. These are particularly good at producing pungent, persistent odors. So then the person says, so the smell is coming from the bacteria the disease creates. Does that mean that antiseptics could help? And he said only to a certain extent. Bacteria also live in deeper layers of the skin where no amount of washing can reach. The root of this is deeper it's in the immune system. Then the person said, what actually helps? He said there is a strong link between the gut and HS. There is a reduced gut microbiome diversity and a twofold increased risk of Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. There's also connection with HS and diet, but it's still being researched. Reducing processed food and sugar is already a great start. And what's clear is that this smell is a symptom of a systemic condition and not a reflection of how clean someone is. So I wanted to break this down better for you guys to understand in more layman terms as to what he's talking about. So let me pull up my notes, which I thought I had here and it was not here, which is annoying. I'm in the wrong area actually. Oh, it is here. Okay. So let me. Okay. So, knowing that HS is a root cause makes sense. And this is exactly why the topical soaps and acids only work temporarily, because they're not reaching where the actual issue is living. So, to explain this further, the bacteria of my skin microbiome shifted. So, because of the HS, which causes more anaerobic bacteria on the skin versus aerobic, the anaerobic bacteria took over. And so that's what's causing the really pungent, persistent odor down there. So, on healthy skin, the dominant bacteria are aerobic, meaning they love oxygen and generally do not produce heavy odors. But when HS flares up, it creates deep, closed off pockets and tracks under the skin where the oxygen cannot reach. And this lack of oxygen allows anaerobic bacteria like Prevotella to move in and take over. So, aerobic bacteria, they like oxygen. Anaerobic bacteria do not like oxygen. So, when they're exposed to oxygen, it can create a really bad odor. That's why I've noticed that sometimes if I go commando or if I'm just not wearing underwear, the smell will be a lot stronger because there's no barrier to absorb the sweat like cotton underwear. And so the odor can be really pungent because the anaerobic bacteria don't like oxygen. And so it can react and cause a really strong odor. So, anaerobic bacteria, these specific bacteria are incredibly good at fermenting sweat into very strong, pungent, highly persistent smells because they thrive in oxygen free environments. They hide deep in those active flare up sites. So, it's not so much of just a skin microbiome issue, it's also just as equally as a deep in the skin, actually deep in the tissues. Um, can cause those active flare ups. So they thrive in oxygen free environments. So, with that, since deep in your skin, there's lack of oxygen usually, it can then produce the odor also through your skin. So, I hope that this makes sense. So, washing cannot reach the root. So, the smell is a symptom of the medical condition, not a reflection of how clean you are. So, in this post, he's also explaining that these odor causing bacteria live deep in the structural layers of the skin where HS is present. So, no amount of scrubbing or using loom, vinegar, lemon juice can wash them away because topicals only sit on the very surface of the skin. But if this is coming from the deeper layers of the skin, it's always going to be expressed through the skin no matter how much time you try to balance the skin microbiome. So the root of this is more of an internal thing, and HS is tied to the immune system. So, as mentioned to you guys, there's a major link between gut health and HS flares. So, people with HS frequently have less diversity in their gut microbiome. So, for me, every single day, I have daily non-negotiables are having an 8 ounce kefir every single day, having a yogurt every single day, and having a kombucha or a water kefir every single day to help with always adding good bacteria into my gut. I also do take a spore-based probiotic and also a vaginal probiotic as well. So when the gut microbiome is out of balance, it can trigger systemic body-wide inflammation that directly fuels skin flares from the inside out. So what I decided to do is I decided to stop all of the external stuff. So I stopped using the loom, the lime juice, the ACV, and basically what I was doing moving forward now, which seems like the craziest thing to do, but I just started using water. So what I would do is I would use the Loom soap once a day after I did a workout, after my Pilates class. I would use the Loom soap, but otherwise I would not use the Loom soap at all anymore, just after a really sweaty session in a Pilates class. When it comes to using the diluted lime juice, that I just stopped completely because I felt like stopping acids for me was the right move because blasting my vag skin microbiome with diluted lime juice during an active HS flare can irritate the skin surface, which can increase inflammation and make the flare ups more angry. Not that I was putting the lime juice directly on the open cyst, but it can be triggering the inflammation of the cyst. So I decided to just do water with a cotton washcloth. I'm going to explain what I do. So sticking to just water and a cotton cloth on the vulva is the kindest, most simplest thing you can do to help with avoiding the aggravation of the skin microbiome when you're dealing with active HS flares. With me incorporating more things from my gut health on a daily basis, because HS is an inflammatory skin condition that's connected to your gut, my daily rotation of kefir, yogurt, my spore-based probiotics, my regular probiotics from my vagina, is helping my body to fight this from the inside out. But I also want to get to the root cause, so that's why I'm also doing the GI map test. So I'm actively working on lowering the systemic inflammation that keeps the vulva flares active so that I don't have to worry about balancing the skin microbiome as a band aid solution. I'm healing it from the root cause, which is the internal nutrition work. And then also, prioritizing more cotton underwear. So keeping the area dry as much as possible with breathable cotton underwear keeps the surface skin calm, which can prevent secondary bacteria from compounding the smell coming from deep flare-ups. So I try to wear cotton underwear more than going commando, especially during the day. At nighttime, I will sleep without underwear. I'm not usually sweating in my sleep unless I'm stressed, which I would assume that that isn't the case all the time. But during the day, I am wearing more cotton underwear and not going as commando anymore because the cotton underwear helps to absorb the sweat so that it's not staying wet and moist on there, so that it's not going to then cause an odor. So I noticed that when I wear cotton underwear, I have less odor. When I'm commando, I have more odor. So I'm wearing more cotton underwear more frequently now to keep the area as dry as possible since cotton helps to absorb that sweat. And I noticed that the smell has decreased since wearing cotton underwear more often. Um, so with what I do with the water now, so whenever I sweat excessively, I will rinse off with water and just a cotton washcloth. You can also use water wipes that only have that only have water as the ingredient, no scents or other chemicals in it, just literal water. But when you do use this, you do need to make sure that you are really dry after so that the smell does not come really quickly after so strong. But I will just rinse off with water. I'll use a 100% cotton washcloth and just wipe the area. And then once after rinsing off with water, I make sure to pat dry immediately and then I'll blow dry immediately. And usually the smell will go away. Sometimes there'll be a lingering smell, but then after it dries, the smell goes away because the wetness is not causing the odor causing bacteria to release the odor. So, for me, I'm doing the opposite of what you would think. I just stopped using things in general. And so I will just use the loom soap after a workout. But then otherwise, if I'm not working out, I won't even use soap down there at all. I'll literally just really rinse it well with water. Like I'll really use the hose and really rinse the area really well with water. In the anal area, obviously, I am going to always use soap. That's different. But on the vaginal vulva, I'm always going to use water and I'm going to wipe it with a cotton washcloth. But that's what's been helping me. Um, Sometimes, if I know I'm going to be seeing my partner and we're going to be having sex, before I may do a diluted ACV wash, before, not after usually, because sometimes after sex you can get skin tears, and then using the ACV after sex can cause burning because of the skin tears from sex. So before sex, I'll use a diluted ACV wash, but that's the only time where I use the diluted ACV wash now. It's just before sex. I don't do it on a regular, consistent basis anymore because I want to give my skin microbiome a break to rebalance itself. And when you wear cotton underwear and cotton clothes, you can actually exchange good bacteria with the cotton. This is something that Dr. Arnpit talks about a lot on his page, is that when you wear more cotton clothes and more natural fabrics like cotton, wool, hemp, linen, these kind of clothes, they one absorb the sweat so it can decrease the odor, and then two, it helps with your skin to exchange good bacteria with your skin. So in the other episode we talked about how wearing plastic fabrics like polyester and elastane can actually hold on to the odor causing bacteria in that fabric, and it can actually reinfect your skin or reinoculate your skin with the odor causing bacteria, and it can keep you stuck in a cycle of having really bad vaginal BO because you're wearing polyester and plastic fabrics that's reinoculating your skin with the bad odor causing bacteria, because the bacteria is stuck in your fabrics, in your plastic fabrics, and they can also form biofilms to last longer in your polyester clothing and in your plastic fabric clothing. That's why a lot of people, no matter how much you wash your polyester or your elastane or your plastic fabric clothing, the odors can still stay because polyester and plastic fabrics hold on to odor causing bacteria. That's why I literally threw away all of my polyester leggings. I threw away all of my plastic fabric underwear and my leggings. I usually only wear cotton underwear anyways, but any ones that I had that did have polyester, I threw them away. I also only, as much as possible, try to wear cotton leggings or cotton biker shorts, cotton underwear, cotton shirts, as much as possible, because plastic fabrics are not good for your skin or for your body at all. But a lot of people wear them because it's a cheaper form of clothing. But I only try to wear cotton bottoms always, 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 because the cotton shield helps a lot with repopulating your skin microbiome with good bacteria and also preventing the odor causing bacteria from causing a really bad BO down there. As mentioned, I'm also going to start my laser hair removal back because doing laser hair removal is one of the most effective ways to manage HS because it destroys the hair follicle, which is where the deep blockages and oxygen-free pockets start forming in the first place. So by removing the follicle, I'm physically taking away the environment where the anaerobic bacteria love to hide and the environment where that can cause the cyst from coming back. But I also want to get to the root cause because doing laser hair removal is more so of like a physical solution. But what is causing my HS flare ups to begin with? So that's why I'm doing the GI map test. I'm also going to be getting my blood sugar labs done. I'm going to be checking my inflammation levels and also doing a full hormone panel. So that pretty much concludes today's episode of my update on doing my vulva skin microbiome rebalancing and how it went. So now you guys know how it went and what to do for yourselves as well. And also giving you an update on the fact that hidradenitis can be what's causing your vulva BO and what to do if you do have hidradenitis. If you do have hidradenitis, the GI reset program will be a really good help and start for you to help get to the root cause of the hidradenitis and so that we can help to heal from the root. And also consider laser hair removal as well with the ND YAG laser. But otherwise, if you have hidradenitis and you also have persistent vulva BO odor, then this can be the reason why. So I hope this gave you guys more insight as to what can be causing your vulva BO. Um, if you have any questions, you can always book a one-to-one call or check out any of my services or my products or anything in that nature. But otherwise, that's it. Stay tuned for the next episode. I hope everyone enjoys their Friday. So have a good weekend and bye, everyone.